the month October. The holiday nearby? Technically today is the Canadian version of Thanksgiving, but as we're closer to Halloween as well, now seems like a good time to play some appropriate gamage. Hello there everyone, this is Many Ninjas as always, and right now we're gonna play a nice little short boss rush mode version of Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. Only we're not gonna be playing as just Belmont, we're gonna be playing as the more ninja of the two available characters, Maxim. For those not entirely familiar how the boss rush works for these particular handheld titles, generally you go from one boss fight to the next in between all these rooms here, and in the middle of the hallways you have, in this game, candles that you can strike in order to refill some of your hearts. While indeed you do have the option in order to wait for the bosses in these games to fully be defeated in order to pick up some orbs in order to restore your health and MP. If you really want to get a faster speed though, you really want to be able to skip those and dash off to the next fight as quickly as you can. Another thing which might not exactly be brought up, or at least I don't recall reading this up anywhere, just kind of found it on my own, at least in Maxim mode, you can only have a maximum of, that kind of sounded off, a maximum of 135 hearts. Which basically means after that point, you might as well just skip over all the candles. Anyway, moving on to Maxim related specifics here. Generally, as you can probably guess by how quickly I'm moving around the screen, he's a lot faster than just Belmont, in both his mobility, which you basically can run around and dash around faster, as well as having an extra jump, so a triple jump instead of a double jump, and his attack speeds also tend to be faster. On the downside, his attacks are also weaker on a whole, only really doing around 80, well 79 to 80 per hit, including for his single sub-weapon, which is the Shuriken, which while it can hit multiple times, still less damage than most stuff than Juste can do. And the other thing is his crouching attack is utterly useless unless you have the enemy at very short range. Fortunately, there are a few cases where that does become very useful, but it's very few and far between and puts you at great risk of being hit back yourself. The only other thing which I can say just probably has a much better example on, or heads up regarding to Juste, is that you can use magic a lot better with him, in that you can actually use magic period, and just has some very specific spells which can be used here. One, he has an attack which can be best described as Samus's spinning jump. I don't remember the exact name of it off the top of my head, but it costs 5 MP or 5 hours, I can't remember. I think it's 5 MP, and basically does a multi-hitting spinning attack. He has his his Maxim Mirage attack, which is what I've seen it called as, which is effectively the same move he uses on you to summon a bunch of clones during his boss fight. Fortunately, when you use it, you're still fully invincible during it, although it does cost a little more than half of your MP at the time. Last move, which you won't see me really use during this run at all, is he does have an ability to heal himself for some HP, which you can use a number of times, but realistically, hopefully you're able to play well enough that you don't need to resort on that thing, since the command for that and the Maxim Mirage are a tad unreliable at times, I'm going to be quite honest. For those not entirely that might remember and play the original Castlevania 3 on the NES/Famicom, yeah, that was the same Skull Knight that was actually the first boss for the very first stage. Only got a bit of upgrades this time. Alright, moving on to what I believe is the third boss of this game, which I can't actually remember who was off the top of my head. Oh, the Golem. Fortunately, the first part of the Golem fight is actually very simple. You can just hit him with just about anything and it'll work for both Maxim and Juste. It's really the second part of the fight that I find particularly annoying, just because at that point he only has one real weak spot. If you're playing as Juste, you can't really hit it too well. As Maximum though, you can at least hit him when you're still standing on the pillars on the side there, and hit him from a straight standing bit. Let's show off a bit of the Maxim Mirage. Hopefully this is enough to take him out. No, I would probably say hit her too short. the other problem with Maxim I should have mentioned is he has fairly low health compared to Juste. If he stepped a little closer, I'll be able to kick him. Although I guess I don't need to. This run has actually been going a bit funny. The bosses have not been behaving quite like they've been doing normally in all of my test runs here. So we're kind of messing around with things here. And I never did find out what the hell it means when you grab the orb at specific frames. It shows either good, excellent, or something like that. But I'm not sure if it gives you any other real benefit. This is the first Minotaur fight. There's more than one of them, although there's also a boss that shows up later that is basically the equivalent of a third Minotaur. They weren't very creative with some of the bosses in this game, I find. A lot of them feel like either quite literal clones or at least really feel the part. The Minotaur is the first obvious one. Thankfully, the first one goes down really quickly. There's also going to be a reoccurring boss that is Legion. And Legion has two forms in this particular game. And there's an extra boss that's just before Dracula himself, which is the Cyclops, which honestly feels like it could have easily been a Minotaur level 3. Ah, crap. Getting hit with the curse thing in this particular game really sucks, especially if you play Maxim, because your big advantage with Maxim is how quickly you can move. Sometimes too fast, actually. I end up running into things more often than not when playing with Maxim. And whenever you get cursed, you slow down to a fairly low speed, which, since you already have such low health as is compared to Juste, can leave you in very compromised positions. It also gives you this awful green rotating palette color scheme. Alright, we'll take the orb. Dan couldn't get an excellent rating or even good off timing. Giant Merman. Here's an example of when the kick comes in really handy. I'm actually hitting it kind of slow during parts of there, but if your timing is really good, you can honestly spam the hell out of that move. And it will actually attack faster than your standard standing attack. And there goes the Giant Merman very quickly. If you could get the move to come out reliably and willing to wait for refills of your mana and health with the orbs, you could probably abuse the Maxim Mirage more than I'm doing in this entire run so far, in order to really kill the boss really fast. Honestly, Maxim boss runs should be a lot faster than anything you could do with Juste. If you were playing as Juste, by the way, on the tiny, or the Max Slimer here, I would actually have to crouch in order to hit him at those last few hits, because he would otherwise be much too low in order to hit normally with a whip. But with Maxim, it's no problem. And another giant version of the normal enemy. You have giant versions of normal enemies, you have a lot of clone bosses. Yeah, this one, boss-wise, was kind of a really of a throwaway title. The story mode itself was pretty nice, but they weren't exactly creative with the boss encounters. Even this one with the Shadow, it's actually one of the nicer boss fights, although realistically the Shadow is not too far-fetched from, or not too far divorced, I should really say, from the Castlevania boss from Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 3. That is basically the same damn thing. Only instead of having to go into coffins and take other forms, he just turns into directly at this point. I'm right now trying to get the Maxim Mirage to go off, but I can't get the command to come out right now, which is wasting valuable seconds. And now what happens when the guy is off screen and nothing hits him when he's off screen? That sucks. Oh well, just as well. He was just about dead anyway. Thankfully, the automatic HP or MP regen is fast enough in order to make that work. Let's just skip off to the next boss. Yeah, it's Legion. I don't need a health refill for this. Legion Saint is easy enough. Just make sure you don't bump into the guy. At 163 damage per every Mirage hit, it actually does about the amount it would do for a critical hit with Maxim's regular attack, I think. 158, actually a little more than. What do you know? In this case, I'm only pausing in order to get the MP refill. I think I'm going to need it for the next boss. Pazuzu, yeah, I need it for this boss. If anything, not only to do a lot of damage quickly, but also as kind of a quick way in order to get a little bit of an invulnerable time in case I screw something up. For the Maxim Mirage, you usually want the boss to be somewhere close to the middle so all the Mirage shadows will connect properly. With Maxim, I think I've been able to knock those things away, but I don't know if you can actually get rid of the fireballs that Pazuzu sends using Maxim properly. Alright, getting a little better with that timing now. Alright, back to 135, max hearts, might as well skip the rest. Minotaur number 2. Instead of an axe, it has a flail. Well, they call it a flail, it's really a ball and chain. That's clearly seen a bit of usage because of how bloody it is. Fortunately, the ball and chain also has a bit more range than the axe. Or at least I think that's the case. Fortunately, very quick kill. We're still doing good here. Back to full hearts, and now Legion Corpse. While Legion Saint was basically the light version of the enemy, this one is the dark one. I don't remember what the actual terminology is in terms of, what's the term? Yeah, basically they imply one is light, one is dark. This is the one you would find on the reversed castle, I think. For the most part, it's basically a no-brainer. Just keep hitting it until it dies. The only thing you need to kind of watch out for is, due to the default sword slashes Maxim has, you can't actually hit the maggots that Legion Corpse drops properly without having to do it at really low range or really close range with its kick. You can't hit it with the standing attack. That's probably the only thing you really have to worry about in that boss fight. In terms of Talos, I usually try to keep him cornered in his own corner there. Although, after double checking, I kind of got reminded that he can't actually corner you properly, even if he does drag you to your own corner. Although, just for the sake of having space to work with, I prefer to keep him away. Took a little bit of damage, but still not too bad overall. Let's keep moving. I don't need a health right now. I could use the hearts though. Alright. Believe it or not, Death is not the second last boss in the boss rush. He's actually the third last one. They have another one after Death for some strange reason I don't know. Considering that he's basically the second in command, you really think that Death would be the final one before Dracula himself. This first form is a bit annoying more than anything once you get used to how he works in the first match, because of course it's still the two-parter here. It's not too bad. This is the first time I can think the flying skies aren't really a problem in the boss fight. And the second form, I'm not sure if it's a snake or just a terrible snake-scorpion mix of some sort, but generally it's a throwaway second form, which I missed most of those hits for. The only vulnerable spawn is pretty much his skull there. The only trick is just making sure you don't run into the blade hands that are just around the skull. Waiting for it. Waiting. There we go. Alright. This next one is going to be the second last one. It says Cyclops, I say it might as well be Minotaur version 3. It has fairly similar mechanics. And you've just seen the range of the attacks that it has. It dashes, it tries to hit you with a hammer. That's all it's got. And it died even faster than I thought it would. On to the last room, the throne room itself. This is the other case I can think of where if you can get Dracula closer to one of those little pillars there, you can actually kill him really quickly just with a lot of kicks. As a side note, this form of Dracula Wraith, you would not actually see when doing the Maxim mode of the regular game. You can only fight it with Maxim on the boss rush here. Now, very last version of Dracula Wraith is an absolute pushover. The only reason you're seeing me getting hit right now is I'm right now trying to get the Maxim Mirage to come out, and it's not cooperating. Come on, just one Maxim Mirage ought to kill it. There we go. And end on a critical for good measure. 15 minutes, 27 seconds, a little over, but hey, not too bad. Apparently it's a record of some sort. Alright, fastest I've done up to this point. And especially not too bad considering the fact that I haven't played this game in well over a year. Could have been faster if I gotten the Maxim Mirages to come out more reliably, but hey, that's another story for another time. For now, though, that's going to be the end of this particular video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.